Never Say Never Again is a 1983 spy film directed by Irvin Kershner. The film is based on the 1961 James Bond novel Thunderball by Ian Fleming, which in turn was based on an original story by Kevin McClory, Jack Whittingham, and Fleming. The novel has been previously adapted into the 1965 film of the same name. Never Say Never Again is the second and most recent James Bond film not to be produced by Eon Productions, the usual producer of the Bond series, but by Jack Schwartzman's Taliafilm, which was distributed by Warner Brothers instead of United Artists. The film is executive produced by Kevin McClory, and one of the original writers of the Thunderball storyline. McClory had retained the filming rights of the novel following a long legal battle dating back from the 1960s. Sean Connery played the role of Bond for the seventh and final time, marking his return to the character after 12 years after Diamonds Are Forever. The film's title is a reference to Connery's reported declaration in 1971 that he would never play the role again. As Connery was 52 at the time of filming, the script makes frequent reference to Bond as aging and past his prime, though ironically Connery was 3 years younger than the incumbent Bond, Roger Moore. The storyline features Bond being brought back into action to investigate the theft of 2 nuclear weapons by Spectre. Filming locations included France, Spain, the Bahamas, and Elstree Studios in the United Kingdom. Never Say Never Again was released by Warner Brothers on the 7th of October 1983 and opened to positive reviews, with the acting of Connery and Klaus Maria Brandauer singled out for praise as more emotionally resonant than the typical Bond films of the day. The film grossed $160 million at the box office, making it a commercial success, though it earned less overall than Eon-produced Octopussy, released earlier that year. The cast includes Sean Connery as James Bond, MI6 agent 007, Klaus Maria Brandauer as Maximilian Largo, a billionaire businessman of Spectre No. 1, Spectre's senior-most agent. He's based on the character Emilio Largo in Thunderball. Max von Snowden as Ernst Stavro Blofeld, the head of Spectre. Barbara Carrera as Fatima Blush, Spectre No. 12, assigned to hunt down and kill Bond. She's based on Fiona Volpe in Thunderball. Kim Basinger as Domino Piacci, sister of Jack Piacci and girlfriend and mistress of Maximilian Largo. The surname was changed to Petrescu for the Italian release of the film. Bernie Cassie as Felix Leiter, Bond's CIA contact and friend. Alex McCowan as Q. Algernon, 00 Section Quartermaster, who issues specialized equipment to Bond. Edward Fox as M, Bond Superior at MI6. Pamela Salem as Miss Moneypenny, M Secretary, and Rowan Atkinson as Nigel Small Fawcett, Foreign Office representative in the Bahamas. Never Say Never Again had its origins in the early 1960s, following the controversy over the 1961 Thunderball novel. Fleming had worked with the independent producer Kevin McClory and scriptwriter Jack Whittingham on the script for a potential Bond film to be called Longitude 78 West, which was subsequently abandoned because of the costs involved. Fleming, always reluctant to let a good idea lie idle, turned this into the novel Thunderball, for which he did not credit McClory or Whittingham. McClory then took Fleming to the High Court in London for breach of copyright, and the matter was settled in 1963. After Eon Productions started producing the Bond films, it subsequently made a deal with McClory, who would produce Thunderball, and then not make any further version of the novel for a period of 10 years, following the release of the Eon-produced version in 1965. In the mid-1970s, McClory again started working on a project to bring a Thunderball adaptation to production, and with the working title Warhead, he brought in writer Lee Denton together with Sean Connery to work on a script. A lawsuit with Eon Productions ended with the ruling that McClory owned sole rights to Spectre and Blofeld, forcing Eon to remove them from The Spy Who Loved Me in 1977. The script initially focused on Spectre shooting down aircraft over the Bermuda Triangle before taking over Liberty Island and Ellis Island as staging areas for an invasion of New York City with the sewers under Wall Street. The script was purchased by Paramount Pictures in 1978. The script ran into difficulties after accusations from Dajak and the United Artists that the project had gone beyond copyright restrictions, which confined McClory to a film based only on the novel of Thunderball, and once again the project was deferred. In early 1980, the project returned to the original nuclear terrorism plot of the original Thunderball novel in order to avoid another lawsuit from Danjak. Also then, McClory saw Jimmy Carter mention the issue in the 1980 presidential debate with Ronald Reagan and was even more convinced to use the original nuclear plot. When producer Kevin McClory had first planned the film in 1964, he had held initial talks with Richard Burton for the part of Bond, although the project came to nothing because of the legal issues involved. When the Warhead project was launched in the late 1970s, a number of actors were mentioned in the trade press, including Orson Welles as the part of Blofeld, Trevor Howard to play M, and Richard Attenborough as director. In 1978, the working title James Bond of the Secret Service was being used, and Connery was in the frame once again, potentially going head-to-head with the next Eon Bond film, Moonraker. But by 1980, with legal issues again causing the project to flounder, Connery thought himself unlikely to play the role, as he stated in an interview in the Sunday Express. When I first worked on the script with Len, I had no thought of actually being in the film. When producer Jack Schwartzman became involved, he asked Connery to play Bond. Connery agreed, negotiating a fee of $3 million, casting and script approval, and a percentage of the profits. Subsequent to Connery reprising the role, Semple altered the script to include several references to Bond's advancing years, playing on Connery being 52 at the time of filming. An academic, Jeremy Black, had pointed out that there are other aspects of age and disillusionment in the film, such as Strubbert's Porter referring to Bond's car. They don't make them like they used to anymore, and the new M having no use for the 00 section, and Q with these reduced budgets. Connery trained with Steven Seagal to help him get in shape for the production. For the main villain in the film, Maximilian Largo, Connery suggested Klaus Maria Brandauer, the lead in the 1981 Academy Award-winning Hungarian film Mephisto. Through the same route came Sir Max van Snelden as Ernst Stavro Blofeld, although he still retained his Eon-originated White Cat in the film. For the femme fatale, director Irvin Kershner selected former model and Playboy cover girl Barbara Carrera to play Fatima Blush, the name coming from one of the names in the early script of Thunderball. Carrera said she modelled her performance on the Hindu goddess Kali, and to mix that in with a little bit of Black Widow and a little bit of a praying mantis. Carrera's performance as Fatima Blush earned her a Golden Globe Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress, which she lost to Cher for her role in Silkwood. Michelle Connery, Sean's wife, had met up-and-coming actress Kim Basinger at the Grosvenor House Hotel in London and suggested her to Connery, and he agreed that she'd be perfect for the role. Other cast members included comedian Rowan Atkinson, who would later parody Bond in the role Johnny English in 2003. Atkinson's character was added by Clement and LaFrance after the production had already started in order to provide the film with some comic relief. James Horner was both Kershner's and Schwartzman's first choice to compose the score, though according to Kershner he was unavailable at the time, although Schwartzman later claimed that Sean Connery vetoed the American. The music for Never Say Never Again was written by Michael Legrand, who composed a score similar to his work as the jazz pianist. The score has been criticized as anachronistic and misjudged, and the most disappointing feature of the film. Legrand also wrote the main theme song, Never Say Never Again, which featured lyrics by Alan and Marilyn Bergman, who had also worked with Legrand on the Academy Award-winning song The Windmills of Your Mind. The song was performed by Lana Hill, after Bonnie Tyler, who disliked the song, declined. Many elements of the Eon-produced Bond films were not present in Never Say Never Again for legal reasons. This included the gun barrel sequence, and there was no James Bond-themed use either. Now, Never Say Never Again is a unique entry in the James Bond franchise, offering an alternative take on the iconic character. While it features Sean Connery reprising his role as Bond, the film stands apart from the official Bond series produced by Eon Productions. Directed by Irvin Kershner, known for his work on The Empire Strikes Back, the movie attempts to capture the essence of the classic Bond films while incorporating a more contemporary feel for the time. One of the strengths of the film is having Sean Connery back in the role. Despite his age, Connery brings his undeniable charisma and wit to the role, reminding the audiences why he was considered one of the best Bonds of all time. His performance adds a sense of nostalgia and familiarity to the movie, allowing fans to reconnect with the character that they know and love so well, especially when directly compared to Eon Productions' Bond of the time, Roger Moore. The supporting cast delivers solid performances as well. Kim Basinger portrays Domino Petacci, Bond's love interest, and a key figure to the mission. Klaus Maria Brandauer portrays Maximilian Largo, the main antagonist, and does a commendable job, bringing a menacing presence to the screen. Additionally, the inclusion of Max van Snelden as Ernst Stavro Blofeld, the iconic Bond villain, adds an extra layer of excitement for fans of the franchise, and just a little bit of fun as well, with Rowan Atkinson adding his familiar comedic touch. In terms of action, the movie does deliver some thrilling moments. The film showcases a number of well-executed action sequences, including high-speed chases, underwater battles, and intense confrontations. However, it's worth noting that the film lacks the larger-than-life spectacle and elaborate set-pieces that have become synonymous with other Bond films. One of the criticisms for me of Never Say Never Again is its uneven pacing. At times the story feels sluggish, and certain scenes could have been tightened to maintain a more consistent momentum. Additionally, the film's production values and overall aesthetic may not match the high standards set by the official Bond series. Look, this is an intriguing deviation from the official Bond franchise, and while it offers an entertaining and nostalgic experience for fans of Sean Connery's portrayal of James Bond, it maybe falls short of capturing the full essence and grandeur of the official films. Despite its flaws, the movie still managed to deliver an enjoyable moments, especially for those interested in seeing Connery back in action as the legendary secret agent. Never Say Never Again gets a 7 out of 10.